Hi students, I hope you all are doing fine. Welcome back to a new video session. In today's video session, we'll be discussing questions on coding and decoding, which is an important topic for IBPS RRBPO and clerical prelims exam. And in the examination, you can expect 3 to 5 questions. So before moving on to the questions, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. And now let's look at the questions. So directions for 1 to 4 in a certain code language, some statements are coded as follows. So in this type of questions, we compare one or more statements which have common words between them and compare it with the common codes between them and assign the respective code for each of the word. So I have written all the unique words given in the statements. This is the unique words given in the statement, and now let's compare each of the statements and try to find out the code for each of the word. So let's start with the first word, which is sum. In the first statement, you can see sum is not common to any of the other statements, so we cannot uniquely determine the code for sum as of now. And let's move to the next word, which is people. You can see people is also present in statement 2, and when comparing statement 1 and statement 2, only people is the only common word between statement 1 and statement 2, hence the only common code between them would be the code for people. So PA is the only common code between statement 1 and statement 2. So the code for people must be PA. Similarly, let's look at the next word, which is never. Again, we can check. Never is not common, is not present in any other statement, so we cannot uniquely find the code for never. And let's look at the next word, which is tired. So tired is common with statement 3. Is also present. Tired is also present in statement 3. When comparing statement 1 and statement 3, we can clearly see that tired is the only common word between them. So the only common code between them is RA. So we can say that tired must be coded as RA. So tired is coded as RA. Again, we cannot, so the code for sum and never is either KA or CA. We cannot uniquely determine the code of sum and never, CA or KA. So you are done with the first statement. So moving on to the next statement, and here let's look at more. We can see more is present in statement 3 as well as statement 4, but statement 3 and statement 4, and the only common code between these three statement is SA. So SA is the only common code between these three statements. We can say that more is coded as SA. More is coded as SA. More is coded as SA. So now let's look at the next word, which is active. So on comparing with statement 4, you can see active is the only left word which is common between statement 2 and statement 4, and the only common code between them which is left is HA. So active must be coded as HA. coded as HA. Since we got the code for 3 words in this statement, so the only left out word here is user and the only left out code here is TA. So you can say that users is coded as TA. Users is coded as TA. So we are done with statement 1 and statement 2. So now let's look at the statement 3. So we have neighbor here and I'm comparing with statement 4. So neighbor is the only left out word common between them and the only left out common code between them is DA. You can say that neighbor is coded as DA. Neighbor is coded as DA. Now we can similarly we got the only left out word in statement 3 is lose and the only left out code here is MA. We can say that lose is coded as MA. Lose is coded as MA. Similarly, there is the only word left in statement 1 and BA is the only code left in statement 4. So there is coded as BA. BA. So now let's use this table to solve the question. So now let's look at the first question, which is what is the code for never. Now looking at the table, we know never is either coded as CA or KA. So choice 5 is the correct answer. So moving on to the next question, which word is coded as SA? So now looking at the table, we can see more is coded as SA, which is given in choice 2. And the next question, what is the code for their active? We know the code for there is BA and the code for active is HA. So the option must contain BA and HA, which is given in choice 4. So moving on to the next question, what can be the code for never there space? We know never is either coded as CA or KA and here space is a new word given to us. So the code for space must be a unique code which is not already given to us, but we know the code for there. So with the help of there, we can try to eliminate the options. We know the code for there is BA. Option 1 has BA. So this is a possibility. Option 2 does not have BA. So this is eliminated. Similarly, option 3 does not have BA. We can eliminate this. And 4, choice 4 does not have BA. And similarly, choice 5 does not have BA. So only one option has BA and this has to be the answer. So now let's solve a new set. In a certain code language, some statements are coded as follows. So similarly, I've created a table for all the unique words given in the statement. So now let's start with the first word in the first statement, which is small. On comparing, we can see that statement 4 has small, but we can see small is not the only common word between statement 1 and statement 4. We can see are beautiful is also common between statement 1 and statement 4. So this we could use this information to find out the code for clouds, as the code which is not common between them will be the code for in statement 1 will be the code for clouds. Similarly, the one which is not common here in statement 1 and statement 4 will be the code for flowers. So now we can see that ZA, GA and MA, ZA, GA and MA are the 3 common codes between statement 1 and statement 4. So P is not common and must be the code for clouds. And similarly, R is not common and this must be the code for flowers. So the code for clouds is PA, and the code for flowers is RA. And we can check in statement 3, we have clouds. Since we got the code for clouds, we can strike this off, and the code for clouds is PA. So we got the code for cloud. And similarly in statement 2, we have flowers, and we know the code for flowers is RA. So now still we cannot find out the code for small. So now let's start, let's look at the next word, which is R. So R is common in statement, R is also present in statement 3, and we can check that other than clouds, R is the only common word between statement 1 and statement 3. So the only common code left between statement 1 and statement 3 is MA. So R must be coded, R is coded as MA. R is coded as MA. Similarly, let's look at beautiful. And comparing with statement 2, we have beautiful in statement 2. And you can see beautiful is the only common word between statement 1 and statement 2. So the only common code between statement 1 and statement 2 is ZA. So we can say that beautiful is coded as ZA. Beautiful is coded as ZA. As we now we can check, the only left out word here is small. So the code for small must be GA, as this is the only code left in statement 1. So we got the code for small, which is GA, and we got the code for R and beautiful as well. So the code for small is GA. So you are done with the first statement. So now let's look at the second statement, and the word here is rain. So rain is common with statement 3, and we can check that rain is the only common word between statement 2 and statement 3. So the only common code between statement 2 and statement 3 is SA. So you can say that rain is coded as SA. Rain is coded as SA. Again, we got the 3 codes in the second statement. So the only the left out word here is bloom, and the left out code here is CA. So bloom is coded as CA. Similarly, we can see black is the left out word in statement 4, and the left out code here is DA. So black is coded as DA. So now let's use the table to solve the questions. So coming on to the first question, what is the code for bloom? Now looking at the table, we can see bloom is coded as CA, which is given in choice 2. Moving on to the next question, which of the following is coded as PA? You can check clouds is coded as PA, and clouds is given in choice 4. This is the correct choice. And the 7th question, what can be the code for rain, clouds, dry? We can check dry is a new word given to us. So the code for dry must be a unique code which is not already given to us. So let's use the codes of rain and clouds to eliminate the choices. We know rain is coded as SA and clouds is coded as PA. So the option must contain SA and PA. So the first option has SA and PA. The second option has SA and PA. The third option does not have SA, so you can eliminate this option. Similarly, the fourth option does not have SA. You can eliminate the fourth option as well. And fifth option has both SA and PA. So now let's look at the first option. Here it is we are given DA, but looking at the table, we can see that black is coded as DA. So dry cannot be coded as DA. So choice 1 is eliminated. And in the second choice, BA. And looking at the table, none of the words given here has a code as BA. So we can say that dry must be coded as BA, and the correct option is choice 2. Moving on to the next question. What is the code for black? You know the code for black is DA. This is given in choice 5. So moving on to the next question. What is the code for beautiful black flowers? So the code for beautiful is ZA. The code for black is DA. And the code for flowers is RA. And the choice must contain ZA, DA and RA, which is given in choice 1, which is the correct answer. Thank you guys. Thank you students for watching the videos. If you have any queries, you can post your queries in the given Telegram channel. And the link for all the social media handles will be given in the description box. And for classroom coaching, do contact your nearest time center. And for online courses, you can enroll through the website given in the description box. So thank you students. Don't forget to like the video, share the video and subscribe the YouTube channel as well.